back from the break, from the lunch break. Perhaps we need to just stretch a little bit, and then we delve into our program for this afternoon. Let me invite you all to stand up, and let's sing the national African community anthem, one stanza each, before we set our program on course. Ladies and gentlemen, may we rise for the national anthem. Media team. Now the East African Community Anthem.
Ee Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you very much. May you now take your seats. So as we resume this session, may I now invite Dr. Sarah Birete, the Executive Director, Center for Constitutional Governance, to take to the podium and make her remarks before we can go into the final debate. Just to formally welcome our chief guest.
Thank you very much, our Mistress of Ceremonies, Madam Judith, our chief guest, my friend, Honorable Timura from Zimbabwe. You're very welcome. The panel of judges for the Inter-University Interface Debates, Season 5. The debaters from the 25 universities, and the finalists that we are waiting to listen to. Ladies and gentlemen, we have spent here 1.5 days so far, and we've talked much, but for the benefit of our chief guest, the Inter-University Interface Debates are mentorship spaces on constitutionalism in Uganda. Each of the universities has their clubs, named the Hope Initiative Clubs. And at inception in 2013, we named the program Hope Initiative to give hope to the Ugandan youth that a better Uganda is possible, but also to send a message to the young people that they are the hope for Uganda. They are the ones that should promote the culture of constitutionalism in our governance, and they can only do this by practicing with the concepts of constitutionalism. In this debate, the theme is the unending quest for credible, free, and fair elections in Uganda. Since independence, Uganda has not witnessed a peaceful handover of political power, 63 years. I am about to make 50 years myself, so you can imagine how long the period has been. And here we are saying the youth that compose 73.3% of Ugandans are the future. And the university youth are the champions of the 73% youth, and they can direct the course of the young people in chanting the best way forward for Uganda. This is what we are doing here, Honorable, and you're most welcome. And I hope you enjoy the finalists of season 5 as they debate the theme of the day. Karibuni sana.
Dr. Sarah Birete, thank you very much. And our chief guests, I hope you now feel more at home and at ease. Just to let you know, in this room we have 25 universities represented here. The different universities, you'll get to know them. May I now invite Mr. Peter Chivazo to come and take us through the finals of the debate. Peter, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Was the lunch that heavy? Good afternoon. Okay. I'll do the good afternoons per university. Please raise that placard. Raise the placard so I know you're still here. Good afternoon, Busitema. Good afternoon, Mbarara. Good afternoon, I think that's KIU. Good afternoon, Kampala University. Good afternoon, Ankole Western, All Saints University, Makerere University, International. I missed that. Okay, International University of East Africa, Ndeje University, St. Lawrence University, Bugema University, Kabale University, Mutesa One Royal University, Nkumba University, Clark International, Mountains of the Moon. I'm waiting for the ones of the sun as well. Makerere University Business School, good afternoon. Uganda Pentecostal University, Gulu University, Uganda Christian University, Islamic University in Uganda, Uganda Matters University, Kyambogo University. Who's that? Bishop Stewart University. Oh, Cavendish University. You raised it rather too late. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the session for the afternoon. The afternoon session is our penultimate session. I'm asked to make an amendment. I'm on the list of finalists where we had Kampala University, Digombwe Jackson. There's been a retabulation, and we want to regret the error. It was supposed to be Kampala International University, Ocello Ronald. Sorry about the mistake. We're going to go up. Please put your hands together for Elisha Kakanyero Ogenwot. Finalist number 1 goes to my extreme right. There is a place called Kakanyero in Gulu. Do you own it? Okay. Number 2 is Ochero Ronald from KIU. Please make your way up. Number 3 is Kaka Andy Angel from Kyambogo University. Number 4 is Cynthia Esther Apili from Makerere University. And number 5 is Elamaboni Abraham from Uganda Christian University. All right. I'll say I observed something very interesting. Okay, I hope the judges are ready. I'll just make this observation. It's something that happens so many times. The Uganda national anthem was played this afternoon, and we barely mumbled the anthem. We could barely sing that first stanza of the national anthem. I don't know whether it is something to do with us as a nation. And then when we sang the East African anthem, there was a buzz across the room. People were singing along. Maybe it's the beat. Maybe it's the Uganda that doesn't resonate with us. Maybe it's the language. Maybe, because, well, I don't know. The academics in this room may want to check out how come the East African anthem that was introduced only yesterday resonates, yes, I say yesterday, resonates so very well with so many people and not the Uganda anthem. Maybe if it were sung in my language. Right. The panelists, you're welcome. Good afternoon. This is the penultimate. There's going to be ultimately one winner with that trophy. One of you will go home with it. The rest will be winners without. So, we roll. And I have the privilege of not being one of the judges. So we'll start on my extreme right, Kakanyero. This session will still talk about that democracy that we've been talking about. You talked to us through in the earlier session, but I want to ask, the way it's put here, do Uganda's electoral outcomes represent the will of the people? When you close your eyes, when you think about them, when you've read them, do you think they represent the will of the people? And here, not just the presidency, but across the board, from local governance to parliament to presidency. And the old rules still stand. Our timekeeper, who's the timekeeper? Do your stop clock. Same time. You have a minute to shoot and pitch. Then we are open to interaction across the table. Yes? Okay, good to go. Timekeeper, we are still waiting for you. You good to go? Yes, Kakanyero. Your mic? Your mic?
All right, so I'm basically going to start. Does Uganda's electoral outcome represent the will of the people? For us to actually have a clear picture of the Ugandan electoral, outcome representing the will of the people, we need to understand like the role of the electoral processes that take place in the Ugandan space, like the electoral space. But then it's not just about that, it's also about how at the end of the day people come to make the decisions that they go ahead and make, because I think it's not just about the will, it's about the cohesion and probably the processes that lead to like the outcomes that we generally have. So one thing that we notice is that at the end of the day we have the politics that exist in Uganda, like the elections that exist in Uganda, have things like monetization, have things like rigging, have things like violence that are meted out against people, have things like little transparency, little free and fair, or open ground or flat ground for everyone to actually participate in. But then that's not like the whole thing. The whole thing is that at the end of the day, people do make decisions despite the things that transpire in the Ugandan electoral space, despite the violences, despite all those things that exist. But there are things that lead people to make these particular decisions. The first thing is like the monetization of politics in Uganda. At the end of the day, we live in a society where Ugandans as themselves are generally like very poor people. Okay, not like everyone, but the vast majority of Ugandans are poor people. Like there is the economic question, right? Meaning at the end of the day, if a politician comes and offers, a limited kind of help to this particular person, not exactly making sure that the person has access to services, this person is going to vote for such a politician. In actually sub-region where I come from, they have this policy where they call it something like, I've gone to this person's campaign, I need something to, wipe where I've sat after his campaign, and that little kind of help generally influences you to vote for that person or bias you to vote for him against another person despite the kind of manifestos that they bring. Secondly, there's also limited participation in like the politics, in the outcome of the will, right? Because at the end of the day, for you to run for member of parliament, for you to run for presidency, you need to have 3 million shillings for member of parliament. You need to have 20 million shillings for presidency. It's why at the end of the day, this particular year, we had a lot of young people come up to pick nomination forms, but they couldn't actually eventually be nominated. Why? Because they didn't have the 20 million. But then it's not just about having the 20 million. They couldn't actually go to all the 140-something districts to get like the 9,800, signatures that were required by the government for them to be nominated. Like there are a lot of bureaucracies, there are a lot of processes that exist within our whatever, right? That limit our participation in the electoral process. But then also, again, for people to make good decisions, they need to have kind of access to information. This necessarily means that we kind of need a free media. We kind of need access to the internet during the campaign periods, right? So then, whenever we are approaching campaigns and things like that, there's internet blackdown. Like even during nominations, there's probably internet black. Sorry.
Elisha.
I'm going to go ahead and show you that.
Elisha, just a second.
Yes.
I'd like to walk you back a bit.
To the question.
A bit back to the question. We have 2 minutes.
Yes.
Do you think that our electoral results reflect, are a mirror of the people's will?
That's what I was about to get into. At the end of the day, people make these decisions. They are probably the will of the people, but there are a lot of other factors that push people to make these decisions, right? And these decisions are not always the decisions that we make for the best of them, because democracy relies on the agency and the choice of the people, like I've been telling you the entire day. But then if there are certain factors that push you to make a certain decision because you believe it's best for you, well, there are other better factors, then it's actually not like the true will of the people, right? But then the democratic process kind of still like achieves like, respects the will of the people in like a certain aspect, but it's actually not like the real will of the people. It's just something that is
What
apparent.
would it take to have the real will?
What does it take to have the real will of the people, right? Like I've been saying the entire time, we need little monetization of politics. We need a kind of free and fair ground, right, for someone who is even probably from like a poor background and stuff like that to participate in politics, to reach out to people with their manifestos. We need some kind of free media for everyone to have access to people's manifestos and make like the right decisions and vote because they actually believe that this is like the best kind of person for them. Those are the things that we would need, obviously, plus like a free and fair,
Do
independent
those
electoral
people
commission and
actually
electoral
listen to
policy.
those manifestos?
Yeah, people actually do listen to manifestos.
Really?
Exactly, people do listen to manifestos, but it's like it's going to take place only on like a campaign trail. When a politician reaches to a local man within the community, when a politician goes probably to a local radio station, that is when people listen to the manifestos. Of course, there's not a single way someone is going to read Bobby Wine's manifesto when it's just in a book kind of format, because most of the
Thank
people are
you
literate.
very much. I think being fast is good. All the others give you a chance to speak without interjection. We'll go to Kampala International University. Ronald.
I actually had a hand up. We
Well,
allowed
the
to-
time is up.
Okay, within the time.
Yes, kindly look at that lady over there. She raises the cards for time. The moment she raises the 1 of 2 minutes, you're good to go. Ronald, I want to pass the same question to you. Will of the people. What do you understand by the notion of the will of the people? And how can you come through and say yes or no, the will of the people is expressed in the electoral returns?
To me, there are two indicators that I will look at straight away and see that the will of the people have been reflected or not. One, satisfaction with the electoral process, right from the word go. Are people satisfied with the process, the way the electoral commission is handling the process, the way the security is handling the process? Even during the process, there are already legal issues coming up. The way the judiciary is handling the process indicates how the people's will have been reflected. That's one indicator straight away. And then the second indicator, acceptance of the results after elections. How have the people embraced the results? If the people have not embraced the results, it means the people's will have not been what? Reflected. Okay, in a scenario whereby there was silence, I would look at how many people have voted. Is it the majority or the minority? For example, in 2021, whereby we had more than half of the people that registered to vote did not vote. It means the votes that were declared was already minority vote. Our law says that 50 plus 1% should be declared a winner, yes? But if that 50 plus 1% is coming out of the minority of the people that voted, I feel like it still does not reflect what? The will of the people.
Would you help me crack numbers a bit there?
Okay.
How many people registered? How many voted?
According to the statistics I had access to, 18 million people registered.
How
But
many?
over 59%,
18.
18 million. Over 59% did not vote. This time round, we are having 19 million that have registered. In May, it was in April that they told us that the new registered voters were 3,600 something, 3,400 something, but it's in thousands still. It means the registered are 19 million, but those that qualify to register and vote were around 3 million. If the trend continues and we have half of the people not voting this time round, plus those that qualify to vote but have not registered to vote, we shall be having around 12 something million people not voting, which will reflect around 66% of the people that were supposed to vote. You realize 66% is the majority, right? They were supposed to vote, but they didn't vote. It means the vote will be around 30 something percentage. So if you declare that as the will of the people, which will is the minority, does not reflect the what? The will of the
But
people.
those are the
to me.
people that have chosen to come to the election.
Okay, there are a number of factors that come into play for people not to come to vote.
Okay, your neighbor from Kyambogo
Thank you.
wants a go at you.
I think my question is going to be very simple, right? If the number of people that registered to vote but didn't choose to go to the polling station, then I don't think it becomes a problem for the electoral commission in and of itself. It actually becomes the problem of that person that makes that decision not to go to the voting or to the ballot center or to the polling station.
Thank you.
Let me respond.
Kakanyero also had a hand.
May I just respond and
Let him also join in so
It's
that
okay.
you respond at once.
Okay, it's simple, right? At the end of the day, democracy relies on like the free will of the people, the will to actually participate in that decision-making process, or the will to not participate in the decision-making process. If they have given you an opportunity and you choose not to, that then isn't a problem to like the democratic process because you respected your will or your decision or your agents as a
Is
person.
participation only by voting?
first of all, let us
Can't I
understand.
participate by protesting?
Let us understand that it is our constitutional right as citizens of this country to vote. If you're not coming to vote, you are letting the country down. And
Duty,
then
right.
it is the responsibility of the Electoral
Duty,
Commission.
right. Right, duty.
It's our duty.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, but Article 59 actually states right to vote. Yes? So, if the people are not, it's the duty of the EC to make sure that people are educated, they know that voting is important, and they turn up to vote. If the people are not turning up to vote, it means there's a problem somewhere. I don't think there is a citizen somewhere that does not really cherish an opportunity to vote. Me personally, this is going to be my first time voting, and I can't wait for that day. Yes? So, it is not reflecting the will of the people according to me. The electoral process of Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ronald. Now we go to Kaka Ande from Kyambogo University. To help democracy, we have institutions that build around the democracy. One of them is the legislature. You have the political parties. You have the judiciary. You have the media in all its manifestations. Have these institutions helped the democratic process and the electoral processes of Uganda, you think?
I'm just going to go straight to the point. I don't think they have done that, right? You've talked about, all right. I was saying, I'm just going to go straight to the point. I don't think.
I hope you say the media has. Otherwise, I'll cut your time. Carry on.
I don't think they have held up to what they're supposed to do, right? I think the roles of all these institutions have been enshrined in the Constitution, right? That means they ought to do what they're supposed to do. The legislature, for example, is supposed to make sure that the the chairperson electoral commission and the deputy and 5 other people that are appointed by the president, obviously they vet them and make sure they're able to hold those positions. It means, right, and here's the thing, there is a lot of manipulation that happens in our parliament, right, in terms of the money that they serve each other, in terms of them not attending parliamentary sessions and making the right decisions. It definitely means if you don't represent your people, which is what you're supposed to do anyway, and you fail to attend parliamentary sessions and vet these individuals, it means you have a problem. The legislature has a problem, and it means they have not upheld what they are supposed to do in regards to the Constitution. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is the political parties, right? I think you can't talk about the political parties without the people involved in running those political parties. And it says that the people in the Constitution, that the individuals that are running these, the individuals that are running these political parties, like iPod and the rest of the things, and they are all in iPod, they are supposed to actually listen to what the Electoral Commission tells them. The problem is they don't trust that electoral institution. That means if they don't trust that electoral institution, they will not follow it to the best way possible. And also there is interruption from state that happens to these political parties in terms of operation. You cannot gather. It says you only have to inform the police. But these individuals, when they inform the police says they can't hold such meetings, and they don't give them reasons. It means, like I said, you can't talk about those political parties and not talk about the individuals and the people that run these institutions.
And
yes.
let me ask, what would the political parties do to fit the description of a democracy? How would you want them to operate to fit the description?
I think first of all, right, the 2005 referendum, right, tells us that these political parties are supposed to operate with free will. I don't think that happens. And here's the thing, if you send parliamentarians to, because these political parties are the ones that send parliamentarians to the parliament, and you don't supervise them to work, it means you have a problem as a political party. Because if they work in making those laws, if they work in vetting these electoral people that run the Independent Electoral Commission, it means you definitely won't have a problem. Cynthia, I'll take you.
Yes, Cynthia.
Okay, so my question is pretty simple. Could there be a conversation around political parties revolving not on ideology, but on individuals, and what that contributes to how politics plays out in the country?
Again, I am getting to that and talking about the problems that these political parties have. I also think as political parties, right, you only fronted, the reason as to why you have a president, the incumbent, still running for the chairperson of the chairman of his party, and also like other individuals, they're gatekeeping that post for him, is because the ideology of that party and most political parties is based on one individual, right? That means they don't have ideologies. It means they're not doing the roles that they are supposed to do as is enshrined in the constitution. It means the way they are run, it's a problem. And that means they're not doing what they're doing democratically.
Give me one liner about the media.
Yes, I'm going to the judiciary and the media. Because you asked for...
Which of the two do you want to go to?
I'll go
Because
to
the
media
time is
first.
out.
I'll go to the media first.
You'd
So
better be charitable.
So I think for the media, right, and you should all understand this, I think the media has a duty to ensure fair coverage. If you look at UBC, they have a program, and it's the national broadcaster, right? They have a program that is supposed to run, but they'll interrupt those programs simply because they want to display the vote, the rallies of individuals like the incumbent. Never have I seen a certain Bobby Wine or the president of NUP being displayed on UBC. I don't think that happens. Same with the other institutions. It doesn't happen. That means you have a problem with this media. They are not
Thank you.
fair. And they are not fair because they are intimidated by the government. But also, the last thing that I'm going to talk about,
You remember what I said?
Exactly. Exactly. And that is the truth. Also, exactly. Lastly,
Okay, your time is
lastly on
up.
the
Thank
judiciary.
you. Thank you.
Lastly on the judiciary.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Your time is up. And I didn't cut you because of comments about the media. And UBC is right here with me. Okay. I want to give you the same shot. Those institutions, are they helping the job of electoral integrity? Now we are not even talking about the whole democracy. We are talking about specifically electoral integrity, the political parties, the media, parliament, the judiciary. Are they helping electoral integrity?
I believe that there has been a huge loss of track in terms of the responsibilities of most of these institutions. I'll begin with the parliament. And the biggest problem with the parliament is not just the idea that parliamentarians have failed.
Why do you start with problem? Carry on, carry on, carry on.
Okay. So beginning with the parliament, it is an individual introspection problem. Because if you are placed in a position to fight for people's rights, amend policies, recommend for things that are necessary to transition government, but also to sustain government, and you don't do these things, it means that the institution in itself in general fails because you are the individuals that make up that institution. The second idea is on the judiciary. And I think the judiciary is one of the strongest elements that can help to propel situations within the country. But I remember yesterday talking about a newspaper article that was written by one of the professors at Makerere Law School, where he had a conversation around the judiciary in post-colonial times, saying that they cannot make rulings on situations like elections because they are a political question and not a question of the law. I think distinguishing things that actually fall within the predicament of the law and separating them from the law is a big problem, because aside from the constrictions and challenges that you might face because of being controlled and lacking independence, if you as well on president adamantly refuse to engage in certain things, it contributes to your failure. You are supposed to uphold the Constitution. The Constitution defends not just the rights of the people, but the sustenance of government and the institutions that exist to sustain these governments. That failure in itself limits the capacity for other institutions to work. And I believe that the judiciary, the Constitution, are key to propelling those particular sectors. Then to the media. We can credit the media for the constant try, especially when it comes to the conversation around... Okay. You would have a conversation around especially the propaganda revolving media houses. And this is not just limited to Uganda. I think we've seen the same debate when it comes to Al Jazeera, CNN. We previously saw Donald Trump condemning in terms of how Fox News portrays him and the like. Despite those challenges, there has been a push. And we think the constant pointers, the constant remarks that are made are things that evoke the conversations that individuals have around the political atmosphere in the country. You have the NTV poll. You have NBS going as far as on Twitter to have Twitter polls that allow you as individuals, if the government is limiting you to vote, at least you get to go to Twitter and vote about an issue and discuss it. The limitation of referendums that are supposed to work for you as citizens to vote on particular policies, you don't get that same like physical element. These media houses propel the capacity for individuals to have and dissect those conversations.
Catch your breath a bit.
Yes?
Catch your breath a bit.
Okay, sure.
These media houses that you're talking about are largely in Uganda up to 73% owned by politicians. The latter percentage that is left are faith-based owned, and a few of them businesses. Don't you think they are already compromised at birth?
On the conversation of free will, if you have had the debates, a lot of people don't believe that free will exists in general, because there is always something that is going to coerce, to propel, to shape an ideology for people. And that is what politics is in essence. So because someone is a politician and owns a media house, do they directly influence what the media house reports? Do they influence what things in society do? You must have examples. The same way you are conditioning us to have evidence, you must have that evidence when you're pushing these claims. Because owning something does not necessitate controlling it, especially when it comes to media. Because narratives are shaped by action in society. Is this person going to kill someone and come and report about it on the news? No. And I think that's something that we also need to analyze. The people that control the media are largely the people that want to pick a portion from it. And I think that's what we should interrogate.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mine is a point of information to the panel and to the House in reference to the question you've laid to her. In Uganda, regardless of who owns the media house, we do have the law that governs them. But yet the law is weaponized, that constrains them. In the 2016 petition, actually the judiciary recommended state use of the state media use, whereby they were recommending the legislation to make laws that constrain them to open up their media houses. Yeah, thank you.
20 seconds.
Okay, so in my last 20 seconds, I think we've covered the parliament, we've covered the judiciary, and we've covered just the role of most of these institutions as not failed, but a try. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to hear from you on the same. I wanted to take you to Madagascar, Cameroon, Nepal, and Tanzania, but I want to be very fair to the rest. I want to hear from you on the same issue. Media, legislature, judiciary. I've listened to all of them, and I want to hear what is their role in ensuring that the electoral returns are credible. I want role. Point them at duty. and say media you are supposed to do, judiciary you are supposed to do. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Elomabon Abraham from Uganda Christian University. And to begin with, you've listed the political parties, the media, the legislature, and the judiciary. But all of them, let me list as well their duties. One, management of the electoral process, the electoral policing, and electoral adjudication and electoral observation. To begin with, I will start with the judiciary. In reference to the text of Professor George William Kanyehamba, challenging a presidential election petition, he goes ahead because at a certain extent they fail. To do the electoral policing. Electoral policing, I try to mean that, yeah, what they are supposed to do, since they know where they come from well, then they are supposed to advocate for the people on their ground, mostly the youths. That the youths are supposed to participate in policing elections in a way that they are supposed to monitor how the entire process
Advocate,
happens.
legislate.
Sorry?
Advocate, legislate.
This way they come to legislate, but since they do represent, then they are supposed to lead their people in the right direction.
You have two hands.
Yeah.
This is like a point of information, especially on the part of the legislature. I want us as young people to normalize not being lenient when there is responsibility at hand. I don't think it is right for us to say the parliament has tried when clearly they have failed. A handful of individuals is not a significance of try. And the thing is, the hope that we are creating is dependent off of opposition, meaning we must at all costs criticize to the core because we do not want a repetition. We don't want to be the generation that says history is repeating itself again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We'll take both of them.
At once?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, he says Parliament has tried and that Parliament should actually policy electoral whatever processes more, right? But at the end of the day, Parliament only comes to policy such a thing by coming up with policies, right? Or making policies within the House. How do they make these policies? By having a democratic process, by voting amongst the representatives. And you notice that most of the people that perpetrate, the violences that we witness in this political atmosphere are members of, the ruling party. And they are the highest majority in Parliament. That necessarily means that they are going to vote for policies that favor that party more or favor them to carry out, perpetrating such acts.
You want to think about how
No.
these policies are passed at Parliament and the legislative things they do. How are they passed? One of the most famous things that have happened in my time, members of Parliament were lined up in a building a few meters away from here, given a check of 5 million each, and they tinkered with the constitution. That happened in my time, not in your time. In a country that I know that is not this one. Your question.
Yes, my question, it's not a question actually, it's just point of information, right? First of all, if you look at the parliamentary attendance in and of itself, just shows that these
Microphone.
All right, as saying, right? It's very simple, it's just information. You can't say they have tried when the number of people, we have about 576 MPs, the number that attend those those plenary sittings or those votings, they don't even reach 200. You can't come here and claim that they have tried.
Thank
when
you.
they even
We're back
don't
to
do
him.
their role.
Yeah, I think the answer to both my colleagues will be one. When you look at the formation of the Parliament and how it runs business, when it comes to voting on what policy or what law to come, it is a political question or a political strategy that the Parliament has the majority, rather the NRM has the majority, whereby that goes, if you may understand that in voting in Parliament, if the majority do vote over something, then it has been passed, which means it is upon the opposition political parties to make sure that they do dominate more in Parliament. And that makes a point that we as the youths, as we are being groomed so much, as we are being educated or trained, we should take up this burden. We should take up this role that everyone at the sound of my voice, you have a duty to redeem your country. This is our identity. This is our domicile.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, panel. We open you up to a bit of fire from the floor. There are 5, so I'll take 10. There are 5, so I'm taking 10 universities. Random. The first 3 up come. I'm allowing your feet with a placard. If you don't have a placard, don't come. They have to be 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are they 10 yet? No. This is 3 and 3. That's 6, 7, 8. Who doesn't have a placard? Okay, 2 more to go. The other universities, are these terrible? They are not willing to. I need 2 more unis. People are still debating. Will my question bring down my candidate? Okay, thank you very much. We are allowing you to do either of 2 things. 1, pick one of them, shoot. Right? Or go to this. Answer what would have been our third. In light of what is happening in Tanzania, Cameroon, Madagascar, and Nepal, what is the role of the youth in electoral democracy? You're choosing either of the 2. In light of what is happening in Tanzania, Cameroon, Madagascar, and Nepal, what is the role of the youth in electoral democracy? So you either answer that or pick out one here and draw your gun. Okay.
I almost wanted to do both. Is it okay? I'll start by asking this question. I wanted it. Can I give all or one? Okay, I'll give it up to the lady up the panel. You spoke about a book that was written by a law tutor at Makerere University. A statement you mentioned from that. No, it wasn't her? Okay, sorry, it's all right. I want to just refer to that statement. Sorry about that. You said that in that statement that you quoted it that the judiciary shouldn't be involved in elections because it's a political matter. My question is, if elections are a matter of politics, doesn't that make it much more important for the judiciary to actually be involved so that it brings out the credibility and fairness of what we are searching for? And my reply on this question that comes to the Tanzanian issue and Madagascar and the other place, as youth, number one, we have a duty to our nation that I think we have much more taken it in the hands of the elders and ignored politics and left it for those that are into it. But personally, I see that, yes, as youth, we may be involved in democracy and activism, but we need to get more to the place of giving solutions and not so much saying our nation has not done much for us, but doing more for the nation. Thank you.
Make it brief, ma'am.
What?
Make it brief.
Okay. So,
My name?
My name is Joan Biona Nevia from the International University of East Africa. Now, the question goes to the person that was talking about the merits that are stopping people from standing in, for example, picking their signatures from places. You saw how many people were actually standing in for those positions. If the merits were not there, then what do you think should be done to get people to stand in for those positions? Then, to answer the questions that you've asked, as the youth, I believe we are 18 plus, so it's our time to act. And the real fact is, we come here and blame. Everyone we blame the EC, we blame the judiciary, but the real truth is, when we go back home, we do these things. We pay bribes, we do corrupt, we actually
Do you
don't.
pay or do you receive?
We receive and we do pay. Some of us who stand in for those positions. So the real truth is, it is our time to act and be real. When we go out there and we hold ourselves accountable, get to teach our fellows what to do, and we become real,
Thank
I feel like
you.
all nations are going to thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nkumba, name, course.
My name's Ambutoto Grace Nora, doing a bachelor's in law at Kampala University. My question is to Dan of KIU. You spoke about voting. Why are my question is, why are the people not going to vote? That is, why are the people not going to vote? That is what you should mainly focus on to. And analytically, we all know the next president that we are going to vote. Could that be the reason why they're not going?
Who is the next president?
Analytically, we all know.
I don't.
Let me answer the next question. Yeah, we all know.
So why are we going to
And
vote?
that is the question he should have in mind. Then, answering that question about the youths, we take the main, we are the majority, and we determine who the next leader is, depending on our votes. So, now, and the youths, we are the ones who are more in need of money for the future purposes, right? And so if a political party invests a lot of money in us, what do you expect? That's my answer and the question.
So you would trade. Thank you. If you have the cash band, she's willing to trade.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Edith Leah Magoba, a scholar of diplomacy and international relations at St. Lawrence University. So my question goes to the one from Makerere University. So she spoke of the youth compromising and trying to paint a picture that the parliament is actually doing something, yet there is nothing being done. So according to that statement that you made, what do you think we can do, or the rest of the public can do, to stir up the efficiency of these people, and as well, what do you think cripples their performance while there?
Thank you. Quality check.
If identity emanates from brand, then mine is Ruba.
Aren't you the one that spoke Hindi?
Okay, I shall dava, that les ipsa loquita, to mean facts speak for themselves. So a question to Makerere University. I shall remind you, spoke about media, but I shall remind you that when the hobo, pejoratively hobnobs with the hobgoblins, they are always bamboozled and dramatized. So when media, listen, when media becomes the arbiter of truth, then who governs the governed? The governed. And then
Thank you.
An answer to the question.
No. Time. 1. Thank you. 1 now.
Barija Kenneth, Kampala Western University. My question goes to UCU. You have given
audience.
You have given us the roles that the institutions are supposed to do, but they are not doing those roles.
Yeah.
So what should we do? Because don't forget that there is intimidation if you're engaging the youth.
Thank you. He says, so what do we do if they don't do their job?
Thank you. My name is Kasvante Ivan, doing Bachelor of Arts with Education from Gulu University. My name is Kasvante Ivan, doing Bachelors of Arts with Education from Gulu University. So I have a question directed to the madam from Makerere University, where she put our moderator on a barrel of a gun when she said that owning a radio station or a TV station does not mean that the proprietor evident. If you go to maybe Lukunjiri or Kanungu, Major General Jim Mwezi has stopped any radio show that has to do with hosting Colonel Dr. Chiza Besigye. If you go to Kanungu on Chinchiz FM, there is no opposition political leader who's allowed to be hosted there. How do you justify that?
Thank you. Yes, Hajat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. By the name I'm Shakila Ali, and here comes my first question from Kampala University.
We'll do one.
Okay. I've witnessed an injustice in this room from Kampala University that we scored 80% and we qualified to be on the finals, but after announcing, we saw they announced another person. And as the youth, I encourage justice and I encourage
It's okay. It's okay.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, go on.
Okay. So
Audience, kindly.
So I stand before you asking myself what happened that we didn't qualify and we had 8
Thank you.
points.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the judges' table, I am sure you need to answer that. You will need to answer that. She's very passionate about it. And I like her call for justice. Okay? The last two. Kindly, can we listen to the last two? I hope Nepal is not already invited on us.
Good evening to us all. I am Nasaka Anita, pursuing a bachelor's degree in nursing sciences from Kampala International University. So my question or my concern is unto the gentleman from UCU. He has told us that it's upon the opposition parties to make sure they upheld to the standards so for them to have an equal ground. But we all accept in this condition that in Uganda, despite being under a multi-party system of governance, we have one national party, the NRM, having all structures. It is being built from down, from every village up to the top, having to use national resources. And we are having new parties that are expected to compete with a party that has been supported, that is being supported by the same, by the system or by the government. So how do you expect the opposition parties to be able to compete with that party that is being supported by the national resources? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dominic Kanda. I'm a literature scholar from Gulu University.
Please speak into the microphone and a little louder.
Oh, okay, thank you. I said my name is Dominic Kanda and I'm a literature scholar from Gulu University. I wish to engage Mr. Kaka on one idea, and that is when we talk about the role of the youth in changing democracy and beautifying it for their own best, I think there's some sort of role of government in capacitating them. So what can the government do to empower the youth to be able to become vibrant in their own politics?
Thank you. Thank you. Makerere, you have a barrage of questions. And for that reason, you'll be the last to answer. I'll start with Kakanyero. Go first. Give them a minute each. So do both. Answer, give your parting shot.
Okay, so the question they asked me is, did I notice the number of people that went out to pick nomination forms? Were there qualifications? And if those merits, or that merit-based kind of allowance to pick nomination forms were in there, what would then happen? I think at the end of the day, the Constitution, the 1995 Constitution amended, has qualifications that for you to go and pick a nomination form, you need to actually achieve. One, you need to be a citizen of Uganda. Two, you need to, probably have sat your Form 6 papers, and then also you need to be above like the universal suffrage age, that is 18 years of age, right? So as long as someone has already achieved these qualifications, as long as someone believes that they can make a good leader for the country as Uganda, then we shouldn't actually be, decapacitating them or incapacitating them from going ahead to contest in these particular positions, because they already achieved what the Constitution needs of them. I think also to achieve democracy, you need to, respect the choices of people. And choices are best made when you're not picking or you're not making your choice from like a limited pool. The more the options you have in the pool, the higher the chances that you're going to choose out what is actually best for you, and in that case, what is best for the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisha. Ronald?
My question was about why people are not turning up to vote. You see, there is something I would refer to as protecting the gain syndrome. The aspect of protecting the gain did not appear in the mindsets of Uganda when NRM announced it. Ugandans have always had a mindset of there is something we have to protect. Something I would refer to as the pigs in the animal farm telling the chicken that they have to eat enough eggs in order to get more energy to collect more eggs. So that aspect of protecting the gains, when we look at history, they tell us that the days of Amin was very bad. You could not travel from here to northern Uganda. That is history. We don't know whether it's true. You big people will tell us. The days of Obote, the man that led us to independence, when they're painting him in history, they tell us that his days were very bad. So we as young people, the mindset is that we have to maintain this. Me personally, I grew up in northern Uganda. By the time Lord Resistance Army was on ground, I wouldn't want to experience that. So the mindset of the youth and the people,
time is up.
First of all, and then the electoral process that's marred by violence and intimidation.
Thank you very much, Kaka.
Thank you.
All right. I'm just going to. My question is about what the government can do to empower the youth. I think it's
Bring the microphone further forward.
My question was about how the government can empower the youth so that they start participating in the democratic processes of this country. It's very simple. It's in the Constitution. They have to. One of the most important things in making people participate is letting them have information. That means civic education. And civic education then means the government, like I said yesterday, has to translate that constitution to very many different languages. But I agree we also have weak systems that probably don't do these things, right? That is why it's very important for us to have CSOs existing, right? And NGOs that help with this. That's why you have the Center for Constitutional Governance doing things like this. That's why you have UNESCO teaching these youth so that they get to have the information, the tool that equips them to work or to participate in the electoral process. I don't think it's only about knowing the Constitution, right? I also think it's about you having that information to make that decision. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I had two questions. One was about what can the youth do, and the second one was how can the political parties increase their numbers to, how is it their duty? And to begin with, I want to get a quotation from the Election Observation Mission report by the European Union in 2016. They stated that the elections of Uganda are falling off the international standards, and they stated several reasons. Under which they stated intimidation, misuse of state resources, and one of the people that asked me were pointing to that. And this comes back to us, the youth, that what can we do to solve these problems? Because the report I've just mentioned is from 2016. Today in the lunch break, as I was watching news on a YouTube channel named First Post, they were talking about Cameroon, and the people there are saying that the youth are...
Your time is up.
let me make my point lastly.
Okay.
That, yeah, lastly, leaving the example I was giving, the youths, our problem is usually poverty and illiteracy. The moment we empower ourselves, get the skills, get the education, empower yourself, start up something, get your money. No one will come to manipulate you, to give you money to vote them. Then you will stand a ground to advocate for what you are supposed to do, to condemn them and to do the right thing.
Thank you very much. Okay, Cynthia. I want to ask the audience to allow Cynthia to do more than a minute because she fielded 5 of the 10 questions. Cynthia, go.
Okay, I want to try something and I want to see how many of us know it, yes? Way. Okay. The question was, what can we as young people do?
I hope the stones don't come with it.
Oh, no. Not at all. The first question was then, what can we as young people do in regards to parliament failure and how can we act? Have you seen how active we get when it comes to university politics? Defining tuition fees. You should not increase. You should not do this and that. That is the same energy and momentum we need to propel towards national elections and policies that are impacted on us within these particular periods. Our problem as young people is not that we don't know what to do, but in the sense that we know what to do, are we willing to do what it takes to get there is the question. And I think this is what we need to begin introspecting within ourselves, the will to do what it takes. I remember yesterday mentioning a theory around statehood that says that violence births the state and the state births violence. We say violence is bad, but when you are constrained and pushed to the wall with no alternatives, do you fold or do you act? We need to get uncomfortable in a situation trying to make us comfortable to have that change. The second question was on the article I made reference to in terms of whether elections are a political question or a question on the Constitution. It goes both ways. And the reason as to why I made reference to this article is so that we understand that the judiciary has a significant role to play, whether it is in elections, whether it is in just people absconding and violating the law. The essence of it is that elections must at all costs be a question of the law because it's what gives us the mandate, the duty, and the rights. All these 3 things. So the strength of the judiciary equals the strength in our role and our duty as young people. The third question, I didn't get this question clearly because of the English that was used to ask the question. I'm going to skip it.
And therefore skip it and
yes.
Wind down now.
Let me see. The last question, which was on individual people that control media houses or that own them and what role they have to play. Singling out one example in itself should not be the paint that categorizes all other media houses. But I do agree to the fact that you have different significant political heads that manage to do this. If you mention, for instance, Jim Muhwezi, you mentioned Balam, these are people that have backing of the incumbent with that capacity. However, if we can very well call out the Speaker of Parliament for being corrupt on Twitter, what stops us as young people from having the same capacity to call out such individuals? We are not limited by data, because if you can buy a Rolex, you can very well buy data to call out these individuals. That's how we got the Mamati saga to account. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Put your hands together for the panel up there. They did us very, very well. Thank you very much. I want you to sit there until the judges come and, yes, present you to us. But before that, housekeeping. The lady from, was it Kampala University, had a call on justice. I want the house to give her a round of applause. One of the worst things to happen to any human being is to feel abused and keep quiet about it. For anything else, I feel, okay, this afternoon, that has been achieved. Housekeeping, please come and answer. The judges or, okay.
Thank you so much, Peter, for giving me this very difficult job. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one who made the announcements. And I was making announcements depending on the information that I had gathered. I have looked at the information again, and there was a mistake in the final paper that had the results. These universities seem to be similar in name. They are only separated by the word international. And that's why people who register companies normally insist that this should not happen. I don't know how this happened, but that is not our problem. Now the problem was, given our infrastructure here, the typing is done immediately on that table. That is our administrative table. So when they brought the forms for panels, they typed Kampala International, now Kampala University twice in 2 panels. Now Kampala University was in panel 1. They were in different panels and scored as follows. Judge 1, 62. Judge 2, 56. Judge 3, 77. The average of that is 65. So that was Kampala University, represented by Mr. Ndigombwe Jackson. I think you all saw him in panel 1. Now in panel 2, we had Kampala University again. But later they corrected and added there the word international in between. And that panel had Kampala University, Kyambogo University, Makerere University, Deje University, and Uganda Christian University. That was the second panel. So the first, and it is even according to how they sat, Chero sat the other side. So he scored 83.5, 76, 81, and an average of 80. So when they were recording, giving me the sheet for announcing, instead of writing Kampala International University, they wrote Kampala University, and that's what we announced. But when they went and looked into the raw data again, they found out that the other was a mistake, and that mistake was corrected by inviting Kampala International University, because it is the one which got 80. The other one got 65. The raw data is here. We can even check in the independent judges lists. So we are sorry for the mistake, but there was no injustice.
Thank you very much. That is what happens when there is a contestation. There should be adjudication that is open and free and verifiable. And isn't that what we ask of our judicature? That when we contest, they should be able not to say that while we saw the unfairness, while we saw the abuse, but we are unable to reverse. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I would like to call on the judges, or before the judges, shouldn't we call on CCG first, speak to us? Shouldn't the results be the last? because the excitement that comes with the results, I don't know whether we'll have opportunity to listen to our chief guest. In that moment, I would rather that our chief guest addresses us. We listen as we hold our breath to wait for the results, unless housekeeping has something else. So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hand over to my colleague. I think I've done my bit for the day. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for the privilege. It's a privilege to be here yet again. I was many years ago. We are back to you.
Thank you. So since 2013, Peter has been doing this, and he has actually seen a lot of people grow and emerge and grow and go into so many other spaces just from these Hope Initiative clubs. Thank you very much, Peter. I think really let's give Peter a more deserving applause before I invite our chief guest. So our chief guest, you've already seen him walk in, but perhaps you don't know him.